Hello and welcome to Fender Play Live. I'm Eugene Edwards, coming to you live, and today we're diving into Latin music. This is an incredibly huge genre of music, so today we're going to just give you a crash course introduction to get you started. We have a great guest tonight, and we have a very special offer to tell you about later in the episode, so stick around. I want to thank everybody for joining. We have some viewers from Brazil and Australia tuning in tonight. I mean, are we upside down or are you guys upside down? I don't know. It's weird. Anyway, thank you for tuning in. And of course, all of our viewers throughout the U.S. We really, really appreciate you being here. Speaking of our guests, though, I'm thrilled to welcome one of your brand new Fender Play instructors, Roberto Hermosillo. Say hello, Roberto.
Hello, everyone.
Good evening,
Thanks
sir.
so much for having me here.
Well, we're the lucky ones, trust me. And Dylan, Dr. Dylan Caligiuri joining us. Dylan, say hello.
Hello. Yes, hello.
All right, excellent. I was wearing that same T-shirt earlier today.
Really?
Oh man,
Yeah.
we'll call ahead next time. We'll coordinate something.
Apps, I'd love that. I would love that.
I would have worn it under the blazer, but it just would have looked awkward.
It's all for you, Roberto. All of it.
Like a Chevy Chase character or something.
That's right.
Anyway, so Roberto is a guitarist and singer-songwriter who's toured and played with Latin rock legend Jarabe de Palo, Beatriz Solis, Christian Chavez, and Grammy-winning guitarist El Tuanguero. He's also the first Mexican. This is really impressive. The first Mexican guitarist to get a master's degree in performance from the Berklee College of Music in Boston, Massachusetts. And he teaches players of all levels, starting with you guys today as well. Roberto, welcome to the show, and tell us what you're playing there. Tell us about that guitar.
Sure. Thank you so much for having me here. I'm playing this awesome Fender nylon string guitar. I really like it. You want to hear it from me?
Yeah, go ahead and
Sure.
show off. Nice. A lot of flourishes there. Very, very good. And Dylan, what do you have?
That was cool. So that's the CN series, and this is the Malibu Classic ACB. So I'll give you guys a little ditty. Let's see. There you go. Did it sound classic?
Go.
It should have.
It did. It sounded classic and classic whole.
Yes.
See what you did there? I'm holding a Squire, actually, from just a few years ago, something that I got just because I love the color so much.
Yeah.
And
it insists upon itself.
I have aftermarket pickups in it, but it's just such a pretty guitar. Don't you think so?
Yeah,
I think so.
Very nice.
All right. Now let's get to it. If you have questions about tonight's topic, please drop them in the comments and we'll get to them. And you'll be hearing songs from the Fender Play Latin collection tonight, and I'll let you know when those are coming up. And you can check that out after the show at the links in the comments and description. Okay, Roberto, we'd like to kick things off with some playing. So we're going to put you on the spot. Can you play us something that employs a common Latin rhythm or technique to get us started?
Sure. I'm going to play maybe one of my songs.
Oh,
It's
beautiful.
Is that cool? Yeah.
Yes, please.
It's called Como Estás. And
I'm fine, thank you. I'm sorry.
Wait,
That's exactly why I wrote it. I wrote it for this girl, and I was like, maybe I wonder how she's doing. I wrote it during the pandemic, and I was like, I wonder how she's doing. I just don't want to call her, so I'll just make the song famous, and maybe she'll hear it.
It starts now. We're going to broadcast it now. Hopefully, she's tuning in.
Yeah. So don't call me. Just. It goes like this. Sé que lo nuestro terminó muy mal. Tú me dijiste que no me hablarías jamás, pero hoy que la tierra ha comenzado a temblar, yo te quisiera preguntar, ¿cómo estás, amor? ¿Cómo estás, amor? Que el mundo se derrumba y yo quiero saber, ¿cómo estás, amor? ¿Cómo estás, amor? This world is falling apart and I just like to know. It's been almost 6 months y yo no sé nada de ti. You're still stuck in my mind, I'm dreaming con tu ombligo. Yo sé lo que me diste was like poison for me, pero sigo prendido y quiero estar contigo. Yo sé muy bien that you are not for me. Las olas de tu mar me hicieron infeliz. Lo que que no sé is how to resist the urge that I'm getting just to pick up the phone and ask, ¿cómo estás, amor? ¿Cómo estás, amor? This world is falling apart and I just like to know, ¿cómo estás, amor? ¿Cómo estás, mi amor? This world is falling apart and I just like to know.
Hey, very
That's
charming. Muy bien.
Thank you very much.
That's gorgeous. Put this guy on the radio. All right. So let's start very broadly and ask the impossible question. What do we mean when we say Latin music?
Yeah, that's a big question, and it's interesting because Latin, the term Latin is really short for Latin American, right? So we think of Latin music as everything that comes from Latin America, not to leave out Spain. I love Spain. I lived there.
Of
love
course.
that place. But when you're talking about Latin music, you're talking about the countries that are, that where Latin language or Romance language is prevalent, being Spanish or Portuguese. So everything from Mexico to actually from southern United States, to me,
Right.
it would, the south of the United States would still, we still have all this Latin music here. So,
Right. Go ahead.
yeah,
Sorry.
go. No, so
Well, no, what's the role of the guitar in all these styles and genres? I suppose that's kind of getting to the meat of the show here.
huge.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, especially the guitar being the national instrument of Spain. When you look at all these countries that were colonized by Spain, they brought their instruments. I know, it was during the Renaissance, but they brought actually even ancestors of the guitar to Latin America, and then they brought the actual guitar. And we always had that, connection with Spain. We're like distant cousins, just like I'm from Mexico. It's like, the British and the Americans. So guitar has always been a central part of almost all Latin music. Guitar and a lot of percussions, but I don't know. I had this guitar teacher from Venezuela who used to call the guitar el piano del pobre, which is maybe a funny way of calling, which is the piano of the poor man's. It's like this old way of calling it. It's like everybody could afford a guitar. Not everybody could afford a piano. So it was what everybody has at their house,
Yeah.
And they're very portable. As we
Yeah.
know, the Portuguese and Spanish, it's perfect. You're going on a boat, you're going on a ship across the world, and you can take that and you can accompany yourself. You can, so yeah, that's a great definition of it. And when did Latin music, as we know it, come about? For instance, we know rock and roll comes about in the 1950s. Is there an era when Latin music really comes into its own, or is it more of a broad period of time? And I guess we can restrict this to like once we had recordable technology.
Yeah,
and how's it flowed up to the States, I suppose?
That's an amazing question. Especially, I don't know if you know this, but the very first guitar recordings ever were made by a Mexican guitarist whose last name was Yanez. And, the Mexican dictator at the time, the president, he was president for like 30 years. Sorry, for like 30 years.
30 years, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, he was good friends with Thomas Alva Edison. Actually, so he lent him the recording device.
Oh.
And the guitarist for his Chord was recorded some guitar pieces. So we know for a fact that by the late 18th century, we had late 19th century, the late 1800s, we have very distinct Latin sounds because colonization, the Europeans came and music just sounded like, well, the music in Europe, right?
Right.
And slowly but surely, this European music started being combined with, African, depending on the country that we're talking about, everything, everybody's demographics are different depending on the country that you're in. Music started being combined with African music and with Native American music. And slowly but surely, these styles appear. And nobody really knows when they appear. Probably sometime in the 1700s, 1800s.
Yeah.
Is when we know that is when people know that these styles appeared. But the first recording that we have is from the 1800s. And it was, I don't remember his first name, Ignacio Yanez, I think it was. His last name was Yanez. But
that's a great piece of history there. Now, we just released a collection on Fender Play of some Latin classics. Now, do you mind playing part of one for us now? Maybe Amor Eterno by Juan Gabriel?
Absolutely. That's a great song, actually. And it's a super famous song in Mexico.
Yeah.
And it uses, do you mind if I talk about this?
No, please do. That'd be great.
Cool. So it's an eighth note strum. It's taught with a pick. I typically play it with my fingers, but with pick also it sounds great as well. And it's a kind of style that we're hearing mariachi music, and it's.
Tu
Tú eres la tristeza y de mis ojos que lloran en silencio por tu adiós. Me miro en el espejo y veo tu rostro, el tiempo que he sufrido sin tu amor.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Lovely. Lovely. Now, what can you tell us about that song? Well, actually, what are some of the rhythms that help define the genre? Now, that was a pretty straight eighth note rhythm, but I also think of, and of course, it has that timbre because of the nylon strings and the way you're strumming it. So I guess we could talk about that technique right there, but then expand into the various rhythms.
Yeah, so the rhythm itself is, and mariachi is really the ensemble that we're talking about. It's like saying, jazz combo or something.
Right.
So the mariachi itself is the ensemble, and this is what we call a ranchera, a type of ranchera, playing eighth notes, and it's all straight eighth notes throughout. It might have some breaks, but it's ranchera, which means music of the ranch.
Mm-hmm.
It's
the country music of the region. Yeah. It's the straight up stuff. Yeah, exactly. So, but what about? We know about clave and cumbia. Can you talk about some of those and demonstrate them? Some of those rhythms.
Absolutely, and it's really interesting because cumbia is originally from Colombia, and it was exported to every other country in the world. And I grew up thinking that cumbia was Mexican.
So did I.
Really funny.
So did I.
So 'cause I would see my mom dancing cumbia, but what happened? And cumbia has this, has this bass line, which is kind of what I was playing with my song at the beginning.
We heard it in your song. That's right.
Which is 1, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Might have that, and you might be able to add a strum to that. So all that, those parts, especially that shaker, plus the bass line, are what make the cumbia rhythm. And if you go listen to the old school cumbia from Colombia, which is this African and Native American style of music, those combined, and near the coast of Colombia, the northern coast, that's how it sounds. You still have that. And it became popular in Mexico in 1945. The most popular music in Mexico City was cumbia. Which is crazy for me.
Wow. So it became an immediate fad there, and it seems it just never left.
Yeah.
Wow, that's fantastic. And I know about it's funny, that bass line reminds me of talking about how it influences other genres. By the 1950s, especially in certain parts of New York, where a lot of the Latin big bands were really, really popular and influenced a lot of the songwriters. And so you started hearing songs by the Drifters and some of those records, and you'd hear this kind of this bass line shows up in a lot of pop music, and all of a sudden you can dance with the guy that hold me tight. Right? All these songs kind of had this little bit of this Latin sway and that really simple bass line, that kind of 3-figure bass line going on in there. So I kind of hear that a bit in the cumbia, but I interrupted. What other rhythms? Oh, actually, you know what? Can we get some questions we have from the audience already? We actually have a stack of them already.
Absolutely.
So this is from Jonathan Lingo, who's a member of our Facebook community. What mode is Latin music based in? Are there any modes popularly used?
They're usually just major or minor songs. I feel like harmonically they're not. Is that what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Harmonically, traditional music is not very complex. It's sort of like country music. Most country music tends to be
right. Yeah. It's either major or minor, and after that, it's mostly pentatonic. After that, Michael Levitan, who's watching on YouTube, is there a particular finger picking style to give our music more of this flavor? Pick one.
Let's see. Absolutely. The bass drum, which we have a lesson right now in the Latin collection, which is that bass drum. So if I'm playing an A chord based on the root, so you would play the open A string and then 2 times the chord. going up, or either strumming down, which typically, because you would play these styles unmiked, unamplified, people would play it like this. Sorry if I'm, sorry if I'm clipping, but like that, or going upwards like this, thumb. So root, chord, chord. That's the basic Mexican waltz.
That's Cielito Lindo and everything. Yeah, in fact, I feel a homework assignment coming up with that one right there. That's a great question, Michael. Also from Pabs Pitsu on YouTube. This is awesome. I'm an Argentinian in Australia. Will Roberto talk about tango as well?
I can talk about tango. Yes, it's tango is a really, really cool style of music. Tango is basically the jazz to me of Argentina. It originated in this neighborhood. I lived in Buenos Aires actually, and originated in this. I know, it's incredible.
Oh my lord! Yeah,
it originated in this place called La Boca, which is this. It looks like a mouth as this opening, which was this rich neighborhood. Think Beverly Hills. Yep. Back in the mid 1800s. And there was a plague, so all the rich people left that place and left these big houses, huge mansions.
Yeah.
And you had this big immigration from Europe coming, and please stop me if this is getting too long, but I love this history. And then all of a sudden you have in a room a German family living, and the other one a Spanish family, and the other one a Jewish family, and the other one an Italian family. And they would all hang out in the patios. And they would just sort of try to communicate. So in this mixture of cultures, and these houses used to be called conventillos. This mixture of cultures, this is where you would find where tango music was created. It's a melting pot, just like jazz music in New Orleans, right?
Tremendous.
Specifically, the style is sort of staccato like this. A lot of it is in minor.
With the 5 chord being the dominant 7 chord too, which lends itself to almost the kind of the Jewish music. I think I can see that harmony comes in.
Yes.
That little transition there. I love this history stuff. Now, Roberto, can we hear another playing example from the Latin collection?
Absolutely.
That maybe demonstrates a popular rhythmic style from Latin music, one of these other rhythms?
Actually, so we also have Que Te Vaya Bonito, which is
by Jose Alfredo Jimenez.
Which uses, it's a Mexican waltz. Right. Ojalá que te vaya bonito. It just utilizes this waltz, and it's actually an alternate bass drum where you start on the root and then go to the fifth.
Can you do a verse of this just so we can see and hear that alternate bass rhythm going on?
Ojalá que te vaya bonito. Ojalá que te alcancen las olas. Que no busques que ya no te quiera. Y te dé la razón los espejos. Ojalá que te vaya bonito.
That's great.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
You even imitated his bass croon.
Yeah. That was crooner.
I tried.
Yeah, when you hear, you can't unhear it when you hear him sing that. That's fantastic. I'm going to have you do another song from the collection, but before we do, I'm going to hop over to Dylan really quick. For Dylan, for our beginners, what are some of the things that they can get started on in terms of the lessons that are on the site? Some techniques that kind of get them in this realm.
Yeah, I mean it's really enchanting, especially if it's something that you find out might be in the realm of possibility with you playing guitar. So the great thing is on the site we have a ton of resources to get started, and like Roberto was talking about, it's an amalgamation of different styles of music that brought a lot of these styles together, and yet it's also an amalgamation of guitar styles. So you really do have to kind of come at this from multiple angles, and luckily we've got that collection. We've also got some really good tools for these techniques. So the secrets of finger picking is a entire course. So it's going to run you through the basic concepts of what P, I, M, and A are, and what those letters mean actually in Spanish, as well as intro to finger picking, which has the open string exercises in it. Bass note strum, as Roberto was talking about. If you're playing just lead guitar, we've got lead guitar finger picking, which is going to have kind of the same concept. You're going to be able to sort of kind of pick out a melody using your fingers, which is a really important part. You know, just finger picking is a big theme here.
Sure.
Double stops, triple stops, and then the scale. Somebody asked a question about scales a moment ago. The natural minor scale is the major and the minor scale are what we're dealing with a lot here. We've got ABCs of the natural minor scale, so you'll learn how to play it. And then the harmonic minor scale if you're stepping more into the Spanish guitar stuff. So tons of stuff on the site to really expand your understanding of this.
Fantastic. Thank you, Dylan.
Yeah.
Roberto, we also, one of the songs on the Latin collection is Oyo Como Va by Santana, which, of course, it was originally a Tiro Puente piece. And Carlos doesn't change it all that much, really, if you listen to it. So can we hear a bit of that and then tell us what's going on with that song?
I need to switch guitars.
By all means.
Oh.
Dylan, let's hear the harmonic minor. Nice hold music.
Thank
Holy
you.
Telecasters,
Okay.
Batman. What's going on with this telly? Wait, let's talk about this.
That can't go by. That can't just be unspoken.
That guitar is coast to coast.
Yeah, this is not Latin at all.
No. No, it is.
Well, this part right here is Latin, kind of.
That's right.
A
That's
little
right.
bit here, a little bit here. Yeah. Well,
What is it?
This is it's a telly, and it was actually a trophy for the American Country Awards in 2013.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
So
Okay. So any story on how you ended up with that?
not a long story. A student gave it to me. That's
wonderful.
It. That's
it. That's the story.
He liked
Wow.
me, and he was like, "I got this. You want it?" I'm not sure how he got it.
Yeah, maybe we shouldn't delve into that.
Fell off the back of a truck.
I didn't
I
ask.
just think it's the same thing, Dylan.
You know, sometimes I don't know if you guys have ever had just students that really, really, really like you. And he was like, "Yeah, man, here's this guitar," and I was like, "Okay."
I thought
thank
I
you.
had students that liked me. Jeez.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get back to the song. Oyo Como Va by Santana. Take it away.
Sure. Well, the way it sounded, and obviously these are the chords. And then we have the lead. And there's Oye como va, mi ritmo bueno para gozar. And then it goes into the So
Yeah.
that's all
There you
there in
go.
that lesson. Well, except for the chords. I was just adding that in, but
Yeah. And so what's his approach? Is Carlos imitating like a horn, or like in that, or that single note thing? And then what rhythm is that?
yeah, this is Cuban music, and that's an interesting thing.
There you go. That we talk about Latin music.
Yeah.
We have to expand the map. Sure. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing about Carlos Santana is that he is Mexican,
Right.
but he moved to the U.S. He moved to San Francisco, and well, he lived in Tijuana for a while, and
Right.
he moved to San Francisco, and then he met other Latinos, which is what happened to me as well. I'm from near Tijuana, and then you move here and you start to meet people from other Latin American countries, and that's what happened to him. He started, running into people that were just not just from Mexico,
Yeah.
and he was influenced by that, and part of what he did was mixing up, Caribbean styles with rock guitar, but you can still hear a little bit of that Mexican requinto stuff, like that kind of stuff is pretty, to me, it's very Mexican. Or he does some that
Yeah.
so he tends to do that a lot in his style, but everything else is Cuban. He is imitating some horns. That's
Yeah.
what he's doing.
Now, here's another song, a very popular song that starts as a traditional tune from one country, and then someone born in the States, a Latino born in the States, ends up playing on electric guitar and changes it. So can we talk about La Bamba right now? And we'll talk about the original version of it.
Absolutely. I want to hear you play La Bamba.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right. Watch out.
I was at one point, I was a Richie Valens impersonator, I will warn you. So.
Really?
Whoa.
Oh, yeah. I've
Really?
done that gig. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Oh, yeah. I have a checkered past, believe me.
Wow,
Oh,
that's so cool.
gosh.
I didn't know that.
Dylan really did you? Okay.
I'm in
So-
shock.
But no, Roberto, La Bamba. Let's hear.
Anyway, you about La Bamba. So yeah, La Bamba is a style of music originally from southeastern Mexico, from the state of Veracruz, and it's called son jarocho, which is typically played in 6/8, but it would be like, it would just be typically played like, or sometimes I've heard people play it in 6/8, which is interesting.
Oh, wow.
And what Richie Valens did is that he took that style and he turned it into a rock song, which everybody, will know. Which everybody knows that version. Para bailar la bamba, para bailar la bamba se necesita una poca de gracia.
And and on that recording, what we hear is we hear a wood block in the background playing that. That's kind of the driving rhythm on that one. So he kind of leaves the rhythms from Mexico kind of behind a little bit, but it still has some sort of it definitely has that remnants. It was recorded just up the street on Gower, in fact, where the studio was. Yeah. And then that guitar solo, it seems as though, of course, he's playing a Stratocaster flat pick, obviously. So, and then he does sort of use some of these, like some of the tremolo picking, some of the. He kind of ends every phrase on that open G string, so we hear this. Sort of thing. So he has this bit of the melody going there, but a lot of hammer-ons and pull-offs open. It's almost as if you could play that solo on an acoustic guitar. It's all first position.
Yeah.
And you're just really holding your C shape, your C chord shape mostly. And those are just the little pull-offs and hammer-ons he's doing there in this first position. So it's a really great solo to learn. It's a song that we have on our site. But just by picking up an electric guitar and playing these essentially a folk song, he innovates in that moment. He actually he just shoves things along in a really, really exciting way,
Yeah, and it's no small thing. He is the first Latin rock musician ever.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
It's not a small
undeniable.
thing.
It's not a small thing. Not a small thing at all. Now, a few people are asking about common chord progressions in Latin music, or even just common chords. What can you tell us about that, Roberto?
Like I was saying earlier, it's pretty tonal, meaning you're not really going into any strange modes. Mariachi, it changes depending on the style that we're doing. So
sure.
Mariachi has a lot of 1/4/5,
mm-hmm.
and it actually has a lot of 1/4/5 where the B section goes to the 4, where you're going. I don't know if I can do this. Well, how long do I have to answer this question?
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Just.
Because, for instance, it's there's a song called Ella es. Me cansé de rogarle, me cansé de decirle que yo sin ella de pena muero. 5, just staying on the 5. So we're going from A2. And then ya no quiso escucharle, staying for a long time on 5. Si sus labios se abrieron, fue pa' decirme, ya no te quiero. And then it's about to go on the 4. Sentí que mi vida se fundía en un abismo. 1/5, negro como mis 4. So let's go. Quise aullar el olvido al estilo Jalisco, pero aquellos mariachis y aquel tequila me hicieron llorar.
The breath control, ladies and gentlemen. The breath control is everything here.
This is one of your new Fender Play instructors, everybody. We have access to this guy. This is fantastic. So, okay, so yeah, you're right. I feel like I've heard that progression a million times in a million songs. You're right. That is extremely common. It's really just this format, and then the idea is that you can tell any story you want in that genre. What a wonderful that was great. What a great demo. Barry Kane, who's watching on YouTube, asks, where does bossa nova fit in? All right, so then we're going back to South America, right?
I know. I do have to accept I'm being very Spanish centric here. I'm leaving out the Portuguese part of Latin America, but bossa nova fits absolutely. Bossa nova means the new voice, and it's a style of music that appeared in the first, I think it's mid 20th century. And the cool thing about bossa nova is that bossa nova actually uses a lot of complex harmonies.
Yeah.
A lot of complex harmonies in it. It fits there as well. It's a huge part of Latin music.
With bossa nova, you have to really be aware of your I think of your jazz chords. These minor seventh, these sharp nines, flat nines, all those. A lot of major seventh, right, Dylan? I mean, it has a sophistication to it, I guess.
It has like a lot of major ninth chords in it and a lot of minor ninth chords in it. And composers, Antonio Carlos Jobim is probably one of the most well-known composers for bossa nova. But there's just it's so versed in even that one style. It's really hard to.
And guitar dominates in that genre.
It does.
Milton Nascimento and all those guys. It's just they tend to.
It's in every song.
Yeah.
Every song.
Yeah, and the ancestor of bossa nova is basically choro, which is like the Brazilian blues, right? Choro also is part of that world and is played on guitar traditionally.
Well, I say Charlie Soneman says, "Cheers from Argentina, Buenos Aires." Cheers, Charlie.
Saludos.
See you at Bogarita for a steak. You can cut those things with a spoon. How good is that? And Mark Petton on Facebook is asking, has there been an adoption of electric guitars in Latin music? Well, absolutely. Obviously, Richie Valens was a huge part of that. And then Santana, he's got that really overdriven sound, but playing over those Latin rhythms. And then when we get to modern bands, like
it's
we haven't even gotten to Maná, and there's modern rock bands, of course, and so it's there. We have one more question from Abby. She's asking, can you tell us? I'm reading this as it's being typed. Can you tell us a bit about the role of the rhythm hand in Latin music? Because you were doing some crazy stuff early on, she says. So explain yourself before we hear one more song.
Is that part of the question? Explain yourself.
Explain yourself.
No, I added that.
It's probably the most difficult. The most complex part of playing a lot of Latin music is really understanding the groove and playing the rhythms. And yes, because a lot of what happens in a lot of Latin styles, the role of the guitar is rhythmic. It's true. And you can play with a pick. That thing I'm doing is very modern. And I was just talking to Gloria, the other day, who's one of our awesome instructors as well. She teaches one of the songs in the New Latin Collection. And she plays. We were like both talking. We both play a lot of our stuff with our hands, with our fingers. In Latin style, one of the things that is very prevalent is something called apagón, which is this really. It means muting, but you're muting while hearing a little bit of the string at the same time. Mm-hmm. I don't know how much I don't want to talk about some songs that we might not have experience for, but
no, it's okay. You're allowed.
There might be a very famous movie for kids out there that uses a lot of that 6/8 son jarocho, which is like La Bamba.
Yep.
Which basically what I'm doing is that I'm doing a strum, opening all my my fingers. This is quite an advanced thing to do, and I'm combining that with that apagón style.
Wow,
that's very complex. What I was doing with the cumbia was also, to be fair, I know this is not beginning guitar, but I'm playing the bass line while I'm doing a strum. So
the up. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
People typically would just play this or this, but I'm crazy.
But you play both.
Yeah.
It was some crazy stuff you were doing.
Yeah.
Okay, before we go, can we hear you play one more song, perhaps an original of yours?
Sure. Absolutely. Okay. This is called Que tus sueños se cumplan, which means may all your dreams come true, which is what I wish to y'all. So
perfect.
It goes. And I'm gonna play a little bit of the guitar solo actually, and I do have to say
Please
that
do.
I did steal from Santana. He can sue me. He may
Why
sue
not?
me.
Why
He
not?
may sue me.
It's an honor.
Yeah. Dime cómo le hago pa' que todos esos sueños se cumplan. Quiero verte progresar. Niña, yo te quiero ver cantar. Dime cómo le hago pa' que todos esos sueños se logren. Quiero verte sonreír. Niña, yo te quiero ver reír. Pues conmigo no hay camino que no te lleve a esos sueños. O tal vez a una ventana al mar. Y dime cómo le hago para que todos esos sueños se cumplan. Quiero verte progresar. Niña, yo te quiero ver cantar. Dime cómo le hago para que todos esos sueños se logren. Quiero verte sonreír. Niña, yo te quiero ver reír. Pues conmigo no hay camino que no te lleve a esos sueños. O tal vez a una ventana al sol.
Cliffhanger.
Cliffhanger, yeah, exactly.
Cliffhanger.
Cliffhanger?
Thank you, Roberto, so much for that. Now, you are going to assign some homework now to our viewers.
I am.
Yes, you are.
Man.
You have some very well thought out things here. And so I'll turn it over to you, and then we'll get to Dylan because he's got some stuff to give away.
Thank you very much. Yeah, so I actually have homework for beginner, advanced, and beginner, intermediate, and advanced players. So for beginners, and I actually shared, there might be a PDF out there where you all can have access to. But the first exercise is for beginners. And you need 2 chords for that. You're going to need your A major chord and your E major chord. And we're going to be playing that Mexican style waltz, right? But we're going to be playing without the bass for now, which is totally fine. And you can still, you can definitely hear the style. And it's in 3/4, which means that we're going to be counting 1, 2, 3, and playing chords on the beat number 2 and beat number 3, like this. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I am doing string muting with my left hand. You can also do it with your right hand. There's some awesome string muting lessons on Play, so if you're curious about that. The next one you can play with your pick or with your fingers. I think with the pick it's easier to start, and it's almost the same exercise, but with the bass now. So
This is how we know it's intermediate, because we're adding the bass line. That's right. We're stepping it up here.
Absolutely, and that bass line sounds awesome. It can be tricky, but it's definitely worth the effort. And on the beat 1, we're going to play the bass, and the other 2 beats strum. So bass, drum, strum, bass, drum, strum, and that's also an A and also an E. And then the advanced one, which is very interesting, it's a cumbia one. So I don't know if you noticed, but both of the songs, the originals that I played, were cumbias. I just really like cumbia. It's a happy style.
It's so fun, yeah.
It's happy. And we're going to be playing this first on the A string. Should I go through every single note? Do I have time for that?
No, you don't have to. No, you can just, no, not necessarily. I mean, you can just play the bass line.
Sure. It goes like this. You can play it just open. If you want to go crazy, you can also play with palm muting.
Very cool.
Dramatic.
Yeah.
And it's
That's
all
great.
written out.
All right, everyone, you've got your assignments. We
Yeah.
expect some Latin flavor in your playing very, very soon. Now, we've got a lot of exciting Fender Play updates for you all, so including some free gear and crazy discounts going on, so don't tune out just yet. Dylan, tell us what you got, buddy.
Yeah, that was fantastic. Okay, so listen. First of all, we're bringing back an awesome part of the show. It's a thanks to our Fender Play community members, and I want to give a shout out today to Rachel Buchanan.
Yeah,
A very important Rachel. Dun, dun, dun,
She's
dun.
very dedicated.
Honestly, does the homework every week with panache. With panache. That's right. I'm not even sure if I'm saying that right. But Rachel, thank you so much. A big giveaway, a big thing I want to bring up here, guys, is on the Tune app, the Fender Tune app, right? You can get 25% off of strings, picks, and straps. How does that sound to you, Eugene? What do you think? Does that
it
sound
sounds
okay?
like heaven. Because I lose all those things all the time.
Constantly.
So
There's one. There it is. Okay, so here's the deal. All you have to do is you have to download the app if you don't already have it. It's the Fender Tune app, and you just create an account. Or if you're already a member of Play, you just sign in using your account and head over to the shop page. You'll see there's a big tie-dye thing there. You can press, and you can a special VIP shopping page set up just for you. Bam.
Wow.
All right. I know. It's big. It's big. So check out the Fender Tune app, 25% off strings, picks, and straps. Now, the weekly Fender Play giveaway, if I may.
Please do. You may.
And Roberto has been an incredible guest. I'm sure he's going to inspire some people to pick up possibly a nylon string guitar out of this giveaway, or maybe something else. But
that's a smart idea.
I know. That's what I was thinking. I was thinking. So basically, every week we give away a piece of gear on this show to a lucky Fender Play subscriber simply for using Fender Play for a minimum of 21 minutes or 3 7-minute sessions. We call them streaks. And they get to pick from guitars, amps, basses, amplifiers, all kinds of stuff, right? And basically, if you're lucky and you win, I get to say your name at the end of the show. Do you guys want to hear who won this week?
I do. Can I do my drum roll?
Yeah, I'll give you it.
Oh, even better.
All right, so here we go. Are you guys ready for this?
The tension.
Nathan M. Way
to go, Nathan M.
Nathan!
Way to go. Congratulations, Nathan. Enjoy your new guitar, hopefully it's nylon string, bass, amp, or whatever it is you choose. Dylan, what else you got, buddy? What's
I'll tell you
new on
what.
the site?
This was big. You guys, we're talking about an area of the world where they have guitar orchestras play on a regular basis. They have to make other guitars that are tuned up in different ranges. They're requinto, and we've just scratched the surface of this, which is why you should head to Fender Play, check out the collections tab, look up the Latin Classic Collection, right? Because it's going to get you rolling. It's going to get you started on this path, and it's like opening up a Pandora's box of brand new material. You'll never be bored. You will never be bored. You'll escape to other parts of the world. So do it. Check it out.
Wow. Thank you so much to our traveling guide, Dylan.
There's a gas leak in here. I don't know. I have no excuses.
Oh, no. It's fantastic. And a huge thank you to Roberto Hermosillo, one of our new Fender Play instructors. You helped us explore Latin music. That was a tremendous amount of talent. Welcome aboard. We're all so happy to have you here, and thank you for sharing your talents. And Roberto, do you have anything to plug?
Oh, sure. I mean, well, I'm very happy to be here. I'm super excited for all the lessons that are going to be coming out. There's some lessons that are going to be coming out, some other Latin songs and of other styles as well on the Play app very soon. Also, if you're interested in follow me on social media, my Instagram is soy Robert O.
Gotcha.
So which means I am Roberto.
I am.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I also have a show in LA tomorrow. So if there's people watching it, you all are invited.
Where?
At the Whiskey at 6 o'clock.
Okay.
At the Whiskey
a Go-Go. Yes.
We'll see you on Sunset. And I know you've got a birthday coming up, so enjoy your weekend.
Thank you.
Enjoy your weekend and be safe going off to Boston. So everybody else out there watching around the world, keep safe, keep practicing, and we'll see you next semana at the same time and same place. Everybody, let's go out on a G chord. 1, 2, 3, 4.